Prime Minister calls for the fast-tracking of bills to boost Plan Secure Jamaica, urges connectivity to build resilience, and pays last respects to Dwight Nelson. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the police have mobilized a high-powered team of investigators to determine the circumstances surrounding the death of Member of Parliament for East Portland, Dr. Linval Bloomfield. The assurance follows Saturday morning's discovery of Dr. Bloomfield's body at his home in the parish. While expressing shock and devastation at the Member of Parliament's death, Mr. Holness extended sincere condolences to his family, friends and colleagues. Prime Minister Andrew Holness chaired the first National Security Council meeting for the new year recently. He used the meeting to urge stakeholders to speed up amendments to the Bail Act, which will bar persons charged with gun-related offences and other serious crimes from getting bail. A similar directive has been given for amendments to the Firearms Act. The matters were ventilated as part of Plan Secure Jamaica and other national security priority areas of focus. In addition to presentations from the Justice Ministry and the Firearm Licensing Authority, the Prime Minister was updated on the work of the Major Organised Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA. He commended the organisation for effectively carrying out its duties, which has led to more than 300 cases now before the courts. And coming out of the recent cabinet retreats, government says the Harbour View to Yallah's leg of the South Coast Highway Improvement Project is expected to start by year-end. Final design work for the corridor is to be completed in 6 months by China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, Czech. Reiterating the importance of the highway improvement project, Cabinet said the tender for the first subcontracts will be issued before March 31. The 5 priority areas are Hordley to Long Road, Manchonil to Fair Prospect, Morant Bay to Surge Island to Cedar Valley, and Morant Bay to Prospect. They will be carried out by local contractors. The other 10 packages will be completed over a 2-year period. On Tuesday, the Office of the Prime Minister clarified discussions from a sitting of the Public Accounts Committee. The OPM said the Prime Minister had not finalized or approved the terms of reference for a forensic audit into oil losses at Petrojam Limited. Though a terms of reference had been submitted, the document has to go through a review process involving the OPM, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, and other stakeholders. The OPM also disclosed that Petrojam was not being asked to undertake a forensic audit or appoint a forensic auditor into oil losses at the entity. The Prime Minister's office, however, maintained that once appointed, the forensic auditor's work will run parallel to that of the Petrojam Review Commission and, where possible, feed into the Commission's considerations. By Wednesday, the Prime Minister toured the upgraded Kingston container terminal. He reiterated government's intent to increase its divestment of state assets to competent private sector entities for full utilization. The facility is managed by Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited, KFTL, under a 30-year concession agreement between the Government of Jamaica and CMA-CGM. Prime Minister Holness expressed satisfaction that the operations has so far employed 1,260 persons, 300 of which are new jobs.
I think this is an example of how the process of divestment can increase the value of the asset of the government, because the government still owns the asset, increase the operational efficiency and profitability of the asset for the country and for the persons who are operating it yourselves, the concessionaires.
So far, KFTL has invested nearly $300 million into the facility, to include the dredging and expansion of the wharf's access channel and turning basin.
I'm very interested in the work that is going to be done by the Resilience Center, not just for tourism, but more importantly, what lessons could other industries learn about the speed of recovery after disaster and building in redundancies and protocols to ensure that we have resilience and sustainability.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, as he launched the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Centre in Montego Bay, St. James, Wednesday. Based at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, the centre is to assist global tourism destinations with preparedness and management crises recovery. Mr. Holness called on policymakers to study tourism's ability to recover from exogenous shocks and apply them to underperforming sectors of the economy. According to the Prime Minister, the tourism industry has grown 36% over a 10-year period, while the economy overall only grew 6% for the same period.
For policymakers, it is important that we study this phenomenon, we understand it, and we properly document it and assimilate it and mainstream it into our practice to ensure that whatever kind of disaster that may affect us, we can actually recover.
The Prime Minister used Wednesday's launch to give the assurance that the island was equipped to handle threats to the tourism industry from pandemics and cyber attacks. Back in Kingston Thursday, the Prime Minister read the first lesson at the funeral for former National Security Minister Dwight Nelson. He was also in attendance at Saturday's funeral for political commentator and journalist Troy Kane.
We are the less for not having Troy around. His incisive and insightful commentary and analysis, his guidance. He was truly a great Jamaican to be noted. On behalf of the people of Jamaica, I want to say thanks to Denise and family for letting us have Troy and the great contributions he has made.
At Jamaica House Tuesday, the Prime Minister met with representatives from the Office of Utilities Regulation. Talks centered on making the emergency calling system efficient and effective by implementing a system where all emergency calls use one number and are answered quickly. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.